Well, hello everyone and welcome to the Basics of Life. My name's Ken Burkey and Lanise Hargett is in the house. Yes. Hello, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Lanise is well, I don't know if you're a children's whisperer or a parent whisperer, or kind of a little bit of both, but you always give us great tools on raising kids. I mean, raising kids, it's not for the weak of heart. It's not an easy thing, you know, investing in children, which are so important to do. We have huge responsibility in this, but it's hard.
It is hard.
Yeah.
Super hard.
Especially in the crazy culture that we live in. You know, you're a parent and you can't protect your kid from everything, but you don't want to expose them to everything. And there's this, you know, it's a dance.
It is a dance.
Yeah.
And just, you know, expounding on what you said, our crazy culture, I think as parents and families with small children or even teenagers, it's super hard to pay attention and train our kids because we're just so busy.
So busy, and then there's a lot of things that can entertain our kids and things that aren't necessarily giving kids the best tools.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you're as a student development leader at Green Valley and children development leader, you guys are focusing on this word called Aretha Franklin respect.
Yes.
Right? R-E-S-P-C-T?
We are.
So why is this word respect and how does this get played out? Why is this so important when it comes to parenting and children?
Well, first I just want to go to Green Valley and just say our curriculum, the curriculum that we're using is based upon virtues. And this month our virtue is respect. So our kids at church are learning about the word respect and what that means. And just it becomes, you know, really evident that kids a lot of times just don't even know what that means. What does respect mean and how does that play out? And then parents, of course, wanting respect from our kids and actually needing to demand respect, we have to just look at that word and how is that going to play out with our kids? How are we going to teach them that? Are they going to learn it just by living, or are we going to have to actually do something intentional to teach them that?
And the answer is?
Well, the answer is both.
Yeah.
They are just going to learn that just by living, because the consequences of not respecting are going to be huge, especially if they're going to school or if they are dealing with anyone other than their family in life. They will have to learn that respect is a critical part of living. But also just in families, you know, learning to respect each other, learning to respect your parents, learning to respect your siblings, and then ultimately learning to respect God and yourself are all critical in the development of kids.
So just to define respect, because we're throwing out respect and we kind of all think we understand the word respect, but what are we really getting at when we use the word respect?
Well, it's interesting when you look up respect and what the definition it is in the dictionary. What's interesting is we have our own personal beliefs of what that means, but really the definition is just a deep admiration for a person in their position. And so when you look at that, you have to say a lot of people, a lot of things don't deserve deep admiration and, you know, because of their position. They don't earn it and they don't deserve it. But what we know in society is just because you don't earn it or deserve it, or you're not behaving as a person we would think deserved that respect. What we know with kids and within our own adulthood, we still have to respect just based upon the title of a person. For example, a police officer. Maybe you don't respect how he's pulling you over or giving you a ticket. Maybe you don't feel like you deserve it. Maybe you feel like he's not treating you properly. That doesn't mean that you get to disrespect him.
That's not even a good thing to do. That's not a smart thing to do.
It's not smart. It's totally not smart. But when we look at parenting and how are our kids going to learn that, what we know is they're not learning just by what we're teaching them. They're learning by what we're modeling for them.
Talk about that, because that's, I mean, children obviously are watching our every move. If you look at children, a 2-year-old is going to start walking and talking like their parents at a very, very early age. It's not just in genetics, it's actually you modeling behavior for them. So when you see a 2 or 3 or 4-year-old learning to talk and communicate, and the words coming out of their mouth are exactly like their parents, it's because that's what you're modeling. So when we look at the word respect and we look at how we as parents and caregivers and teachers
teachers and those in our community are dealing with children, what we know is they're watching us. And they are going to model how we behave, mostly those that are spending the most time with them.
Is that the number one factor of teaching kids respect?
Well,
modeling?
I think modeling is huge. Yeah. I think it's critical. I also think that within modeling also comes teaching. Yeah. I think parents really do their children a disservice when they don't take teachable moments, meaning teachable moments in that there is a moment in time where you see there is an opportunity to teach them. Right. And you don't take the time to use your words to look at your child and teach them and talk to them and discuss why certain things are important. And respect goes back to that.
Yeah, we were talking before the show started about how one of the greatest virtues you can teach your kids is respect.
It is.
Especially respecting adults, because we were joking that you can get away with a lot in this world if you're respectful.
You can.
But if you're not respectful, man, bad things happen. Like you said, I have friends who are policemen, and they say, you pull someone over and they're respectful,
yes,
things go a lot better and a lot smoother. But the minute there's disrespect, not good things happen.
Not good things happen.
And it's the same thing in the classroom. You were talking about your son and just saying, mischievous, I was mischievous, but when you're respectful, it's such underrated virtue, really.
It really is. And when you go back to the definition of a deep admiration for a person, the deep admiration has to come from modeling, but actually teaching your children.
Yeah.
There are people in this world that we need to respect and admire, and it doesn't just go to those over us.
Right.
I think a critical part of parenting is those that are under us. For example, the housekeeper, the busboy,
right,
the man that is parking your car. Those that you feel like maybe in life you feel like you're superior to, which you're not.
Right.
Teaching that children need to respect everyone in this world because we really are all equal, and respect their position in life. I know for me, like watching parents with children, and this is a huge issue right now, is children are they're not being taught to respect those who are serving them.
Wow.
And parents are letting them get away with it. And I don't think it's intentional. I think they're just not becoming aware. Yeah. For example, you go to a restaurant and your children make a complete mess, and you walk away from it as a parent. What is that teaching your child? Yeah. You don't have to respect those who are cleaning up after you.
Right.
You can create this enormous mess, and you know what? It's no big deal. At home, they wouldn't be allowed to do that.
Right.
But for some reason in a restaurant, they're allowed to. Why is that? That's poor modeling, it's poor teaching.
Yeah.
So you teach a child, you know what, when we create a mess, we need to be respectful of those who are serving us and appreciative of that. Not by giving them a bigger tip. It's we are going to participate and help you and actually admire what you are doing for us.
That's a great point, because again, I was thinking more of the respect up, but it's also respecting down. There's another word that keeps popping in with respect, and that's honoring. Honoring people's positions, whatever it is.
Yes.
You honor them by respecting them.
Yes.
What about peer-to-peer respect? That's another tough one. Because it's kind of like, if I respect others, I'm going to get ahead, and the way I get ahead is by putting others down. So
right.
That's another big one.
It is huge, and I think it goes back to who are we going to respect? When we learn to respect everyone, those, and this starts very, very early on with caregivers. Parents, do you respect your caregiver? When you teach and model that for a 2- and 3-year-old, that when I come to pick you up at daycare, I will not allow the teacher to pick up all your toys. We're going to do it together because we respect her time. We respect her care. We admire that she is caregiving for you, and we're going to participate with her. So you teach a child that from a very young age. Then when they are having these issues with peers, what they are learning is that we respect everyone. I am responsible as a person to respect not only those under me, not only my parents who are over me, I'm required to respect those who are exactly equal with me.
Right.
And in the end, there is no one above. There is no one below.
Right.
There is no one equal. Yeah. Really what we need to teach our kids is we're all the same.
We're all the same. Yeah, so maybe the opposite word of respect is what you keep saying is kind of selfishness.
It really is.
It's self-centeredness.
It is.
When we're not respectful.
Yes, and you look at like our presidents and those people, the kings and queens and those who do well. What you see is that they are always participating they are serving others. Mm-hmm. There's a deep, deep, deep respect that we have for leaders that are in high positions that actually go and serve those who are hurting. Mm. And it is an unselfishness. That is a modeling of unselfishness. That is like, I am no better than you. Mm. I am equal with you, and I want to help you.
Well, a whole different culture, whole different world if that was the case.
It would be a whole different world, and I really believe, a lot of times as parents, we want really great things for our kids. We want them to become and achieve and to do really, really great things. But one of the things that makes our kids great is that we teach them that, you can go to the lowly. You can go to a pueblo. You can go to a home that is made of straw and sticks, and you can behave properly with respect. Or I can take you to a palace, and you will know how to behave. You know how to do both. And that is an attitude that children can learn.
I like the connection between respect and equality of, that everyone matters, that everyone's important. Mm-hmm. So respect kind of crosses this barrier over to faith and is connected to or to grace and to that everybody's valuable to God.
Absolutely. They are. And when we it all goes back to God, and when you look and teach children that God definitely puts us all in different positions and locations in life.
Right.
Some of us will do much different and greater things than others of us. But you know what? God views and loves all of us the same, and if we can teach our children that, they are going to be so much better off in adulthood. And I just have to say, parents, if you have done a poor job at this, it's never, ever, ever too late to start modeling this.
Yeah.
It's never too late. And I just go back to one time I saw a woman in a hotel, and her teenage children were opening the door to the hotel and putting their hands all over the glass. And she said, "Oh, please don't put your hands on the glass. Remember, somebody has to clean that." And, her kids were big.
Yeah.
Her kids were big, and she was modeling, we're going to respect somebody's time, somebody's work. So these are teenagers that are continuing to learn respect for everyone.
I think, too, when it comes to respect, you just become a more learned person. You grow, and respect allows you to, because it allows you to interact with more people and be more teachable. Because we just, being in Mexico recently, the respect that our group had for everyone, and especially for what Jesus said, the least of these, who are ignored and not respected by the government, not respected by... When you go and invest in their lives, that respect, you get more in return.
Absolutely.
You really do, and you learn more about faith, you learn more about what really matters.
Absolutely.
And so, the busboy, the window cleaner, all amazing people out there.
Yes.
And once you decide that they're all important,
yes,
it changes everything.
Yes, and I think it goes reverse.
Yeah.
If you are a busboy, teaching your children to respect those above them is critical. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
It's not just one-sided. It is easy to disrespect.
The Bible says pray for your leaders, and it's easy to lose respect for politicians and things. And so respect doesn't mean we always agree.
No.
But it's an attitude.
It is
It's an attitude of, hey, they're in a place of position, and I can just whine and complain and tear down, or I can pray.
Yes.
Doesn't mean you're always going to agree with those above you, but
exactly.
But that respect, and which would lead to prayer and those kind of things, will change things much more than just complaining.
Absolutely. And I just have to say, we innately have a desire to respect. And
okay, explain that.
Well, we see in kids and we see in youth so many times that are from homes that are so disrespectful and so broken and so hurting and abusive, bad backgrounds in homes, addiction, drugs. We see that kids, what do? They end up joining a gang.
Because they want
they want to give respect.
Yeah.
They want to belong.
Right.
They want to, they have the ability within them to respect. And we see that all the time.
Right.
It is so easy for them to quickly belong and to respect in a gang. And so we know that our kids totally have the capacity to learn this because we see kids so quickly going to the dark side and joining gangs.
So that's a great point. It's so you're spending what, 4 weeks on respect?
We are. We have 2 more weeks left.
So how do you? What are some of the lessons that are happening in there?
Well, like one of the lessons is about the centurion whose child was sick, and he actually was a official in an army.
Right, in Roman army.
In the Roman army, he was very high up.
Right.
And what he knew is he knew how to give orders. He knew how to tell people what to do. He was used to everyone obeying him. But what he also knew was there were people over him. And so when his child was sick, he had heard about Jesus and the power that he had. And he told Jesus, you know what? If you just say the word, my child will be healed. So he, in the Bible, he had this enormous respect for this man named Jesus.
Wow.
And it just said, say the word. You don't even have to come.
Right.
Because I respect you so
much. I love
much.
that story because here's a guy who had all the power. He didn't have to respect anyone. Everybody respected him because he had the power. And yet he saw not only that everyone mattered, but he saw the power that Jesus had.
Exactly.
Which, because you know, politically or socially, Jesus didn't have any power.
Right, he didn't.
Yeah.
But he had this spiritual power.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, like so many times we think about officials, they just don't care about me.
Yeah.
And what we know about this centurion man was he was paying attention to the wounded, the people that Jesus was taking care of.
Yeah.
So he obviously was paying attention and cared that hurting people were getting healed. And then what do you know? His child got sick.
Yeah.
And he knew who to go to.
Yeah.
So he was very aware of what was happening.
That's a great story.
It is a great story.
And it's great, again, for the kids to learn these things.
It is.
You don't forget that. I think one of the greatest things that, again, as a parent, teaching our kids is really, and it is modeling, you have to do it yourself, but that just respecting everyone. You never know who's going to come into your child's life, and to respect what our culture says is the lowly, and not to over respect the highly, meaning, well, respect them because they're important and they're not. Just that equality thing you talked about is huge. It'd make a huge difference.
It is, and I think when you teach children what's so fun, you teach children to respect everyone. And what we know is the high people don't necessarily look like they're high. So you have your child on an airplane, or you have your child, well, for example, I was just farming this week. There are, 60 people out on the farm. You don't know the boss from the workers.
Yeah.
You just don't, because everybody's dirty.
Right.
You don't know who's calling the shots out there. Everybody looks the same.
Yeah.
And so you teach children, you never know who you're talking to. You need to always treat everyone with respect. Then when they encounter, or we even as adults encounter people, and we respect them and we care about them and we're interested in them, you have no idea who you're talking to.
Right.
You never have any idea who you're talking to.
Yeah.
So it's so fun and rewarding.
It is fun, and it made me think of one story way back in the day when I was doing chapel for the Kings, and so I'd be in the media room, and so you had stars and celebrities and things like that, and I always loved when a big name person would come in. And they saw everybody the same.
Yes.
And they would literally say hi to the person emptying the garbage.
Yeah.
And then they would go over to, a celebrity or a Magic Johnson and go, how are you doing? But treating everyone the same. I always love those kind of people. I won't throw out too many names, but and then there were other people that, our culture says, oh, they're awesome. And they'd walk in and just look past everyone for that one person.
Right.
And it's interesting.
It really is interesting.
And you miss out on the richness of all the different people, the gifts, the qualities. And
you do. And that all comes within being secure with yourself.
Yeah.
And knowing that you're valuable and you're important and you're worthy of respect.
Right.
that people should respect you as well, and children need to know that. I am worthy of respect, and I need to give respect as well.
Yeah.
And so when children, you know, can respect themselves and know that they're respectable, it is so much easier for them to respect others. The same with us as adults. When we're confident and secure within ourselves, it's so much easier.
It is. It is. And we're out of time.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, that's why I love our community. We're not perfect by any means, but I think our community is good at, you know, you can be walking alongside people with a lot of power or money or maybe nothing, and it's just not as much show. And
exactly.
I think that's an important thing.
It is. I think it is too.
Because we're all the same.
Yes.
We're all the same. God, like you said, I love it. Put us in different situations, but we're all the same. And when that happens, that's called respect.
It is.
And we honor all of those things.
Yes.
Good topic.
Yes.
I'm glad you're spending 4 weeks with. We need to talk about this to the adults too.
Yes, it's been super fun. The kids are awesome.
Good.
They're definitely
awesome.
learning.
You're the best.
You're the best.
Lanise Hargett, folks. She's got to leave now. Her Cadillac's Cadillac. Nobody drives a Cadillac anymore. Her limo's outside waiting to pick her up, and so it's a celebrity thing, and we just have to, you know, let her know. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for being with us here on The Basics of Life, and we will see you next time.